Jason doesn't like the AI bubble thing.
Okay, guys, welcome to our live, you're on the big screen behind you, live podcast of Just a Sec. This is episode 7. Drea, Steve, the man, Jags, welcome.
Thank you.
The doctor. How are you guys? You good?
Yeah.
Feeling good. What's the worst that can happen?
I mean, it's day 0.5.
This
We're
is
in
an
Vegas.
ungodly hour.
Yeah,
to
it's
have
quite early. I
anything.
mean, people are having breakfast. You've got a coffee,
want
so
breakfast.
I think you guys will be fine. Yeah. For everyone online, welcome to episode 7. Thank you for following along on our Just a Sec journey. This is our second live event. We did one at Black Hat. That was fun. Yeah. This is OneCon, live from Vegas. It's our customer conference here. We're going to start today with our master topic, which is what is happening in Ukraine. So, targeting of relief organizations like UNICEF. Steve, can you maybe just take us through master topic? What is going on? Why are these guys going after people who are trying to help people in need?
Yeah, so I think a few things. Going back to the Sentinel Labs report, on the surface, it sounds like something we see a lot. We've always seen threat groups go after NGOs, UNICEF, Red Cross. Not the first time they've been targeted. I think what was really interesting in that research was the 6 months of prep to turn it on for one day and then disappear. So that to me was what jumped off the page. That was a very intentional, well thought out campaign, really focused, time bound, which we just don't see that often.
Right. Yeah, I mean the level of prep, even like if you look at the malware itself, right? Like you've got this multi-stage, multi-socket thing. It's taking advantage of the clipboard the way that we see now with some of these click fix type stuff. But I would have assumed just at first glance you'd tell me, hey, there's something multi-stage loader takes advantage of clipboard being leveraged this widely in Ukraine. I'm like, well, it's one of the 20 threat actors that we're used to operating in that same space. To see this level, like this amount of preparation, pre-positioning, and then selective use for a day is very interesting to me, more in the sense of like, okay, which of these threat actors is actually playing ball at a different level, right? So there's some suspicion that maybe it's related to Cold River, like we're still sort of figuring out sort of the exact clustering, but it goes to show, even, what are we now, almost 3 years into this one, that none of that is slowing down. I think the interest from the threat intel community maybe is not as hot as it once was, but this is still, breeding grounds for a bunch of different threat actors we're bound to see playing around in Western Europe and everywhere else as soon as they get a breather.
Do you think that the victim targets, help us kind of maybe hone in on who the potential actors are?
I think you have this kind of miasma of the same general interests, right? You've got this sort of like Russian Federation aligned interests. And at that point, what we've seen in the past is sort of like a difficulty to parse things out, whether you're talking about, is it Belarus, is it Russia, is it, which is sort of like the near and far friends is sort of involved in this. And the other part being, for folks who got way too used to sort of pointing at Slavic countries, you also had the Chinese sort of playing ball there from the very beginning of the conflict. So that sort of vibes-based attribution, like it runs out, the runway, it runs out really quick, and then after that you actually have to pull back and go, okay, what exactly is this cluster and how are they registering their infrastructure and where is this thing being pulled out? And what you end up with is just a zoo of these small clusters at a time where we're having, I'll speak for the community in general. I think everyone's having a much harder time putting clusters together into definitive threat actors the way that I think we got used to. And worse for those folks who got a little too comfortable saying, oh, this is the FSB or whomever, right? That's completely out the window. So between that and some reorgs and a whole overpopulation of threat actors in the space, I think we're happy to push the research out and say, guys, like, this is the actionable part that you should be aware of and prepared for. If you wait for us to have like a definitive sense of who's at play here, we'll see you in about a year probably.
Sure.
Right.
So, but for those of us that are listening, the folks in the room or on the podcast, what is the end goal of these threat actors? So we talk about like, okay, we're going to target UNICEF. what is the end goal? What are they trying to accomplish by doing that?
I mean, it's tough to speak to that because it's a hot conflict. If we were just discussing this sort of targeting in, let's say, Western Europe, then we can talk about supply lines and positioning and sort of what kind of support is being offered, and also the kind of delusional thinking that goes into how certain countries approach NGOs in general, right? Where you think of them as arms of the state or other states. But when it comes to this sort of like hot conflict type situation, we've seen actual coordination of like stuff that's being stolen and then being used for like kinetic operations, and stuff that's being stolen and sort of repurposed for other near field type missions, if you will. So I'm not entirely certain, but I know from the perspective of the NGOs involved, it's got to be this sort of terrifying thing to know that they're interested in getting a nice snapshot of data for these particular orgs for a day, and then what, right? Like it sort of leaves this like hanging piano theory of like what's happening in Ukraine.
I think with NGOs too, it's tough because we've seen NGO targeting, and it's hard to say what it is for a bunch of reasons. I mean, we see NGOs targeted for regimes in particular are very, very nervous of NGOs in general, especially ones that are really deep in conflict areas where they're trying to control messaging, understanding. We see NGOs being targeted. It's not unheard of that you actually have military or government operations that masquerade or tuck into some NGOs. Not saying any of that's what's going on in this instance, but there's several really typical reasons for NGO targeting. In this case, I think it's almost easier to say what it's not. I would be shocked if this is cybercrime. The targeting doesn't make sense. The methodology doesn't make sense. The follow-on, I think it was like half of the targets, there was follow-on attempts with Android. That just reeks of like people targeting, specific people at a specific place at a specific time. That sounds government-y to me.
Let's also say the quiet part out loud, right? In this particular conflict, NGOs and what are usually sort of protected entities in war have not been particularly protected or respected in any way. So when you talk about that jump onto the mobile phones, for me, yeah, sure, great source of data. Anybody who wants to do proper espionage these days has to get on mobile. But the key differentiator there is geolocation, and considering that you're just out there trying to, provide aid, and folks have been more than willing to target that with a missile or airstrike, drones, etc. Terrifying, right? Like we've heard from any of the NGOs we were not in touch with already, or working with actively already, have reached out like within a day or two of the blog post dropping, and it's this kind of, you get this kind of moment, this pang of being like, look, how do we help you? Because you can sense the fear, and it's, I think, rightly so. Right?
Yeah, they're just not built for this. I mean, it's just NGOs are running very thin. They're nonprofits. They're not supported by governments. I mean, it's literally in the name. And they're just not prepared for this. They're not thinking about this. And they are a highly targeted surface area, particularly at the moments that they're most fragile, I guess, for lack of a better term. So I genuinely think it's great that we help support these organizations, because it is time to level the playing field. Like, these folks are just genuinely trying to do good work, and they're just under significant pressure, and the model for them is not built for that.
And I think for you guys, like that, to me, is the epitome of what we do actually really matters in the world. And so,
it does.
Like, I think we all should be super proud of the fact that we can actually support organizations and people who are, can't protect themselves, right? So
shout out to Tom Hagel and
Yeah.
the labs folks who
Absolutely.
support the pro bono efforts out here,
100%.
doing God's work.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to our quickfire topics, and I'm running the countdown clock manually today, so I don't know if I should try and just do the horn with my voice, but we'll see.
Let's do it. Do
yeah,
that.
we'll try and do
Please
it.
do that.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so first quickfire topic we're starting with, Steve, is you. Maybe. Is Vegas cool? Or is it just like Boomer Town?
I think Vegas is Boomer Town now. I mean, Vegas is like adult Disney World, I think.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
Hasn't it always? Wasn't it always
Wait a
adult
minute.
Disney World?
I think the days of like Vegas being gritty and you never know what you're gonna bump into, like scheduling doesn't even work that way. You gotta have reservations. You gotta lay out your itinerary. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just go get nuts without pre-planning Vegas anymore.
No. And you need lots of hydration and all of that. but it's not Disney World. Let's be.
Well,
I mean, that was a triggering word, I feel.
It was.
I feel
You
like
know
that was
me,
really
I
what
love
you
it.
were
I knew
doing.
what I was doing. Yeah, I knew
Look,
what I was doing.
it's like the reject Imagineers got the people who got fired for like harassment.
No.
Ended up moving to the desert and created Epcot, sort of
What the hell are we
adult
doing?
They have
land.
rides. They have themed
They
food.
have rides.
You got to stand in
I
lines.
don't
They
know.
have pools.
That's
I
right.
don't
That sure sounds like
Character
Disney World.
actors.
Disney World
Character
has pools. I mean,
I mean, I
sure.
feel like I'm describing
Shows.
Disney World.
You're not.
Shows on
I
demand.
disagree wildly, but okay, fine. Like we
Buffets.
can. Where do you get a buffet in
I mean, there's a
Disney?
buffet right there.
Yeah,
In
honestly,
Disney
it is.
World. I mean, you can actually, I know. But anyway, I don't know. I think you're right. I think it is a little boomer town. I am certainly, it's not my favorite place anymore. I come too much, right? But then I see Mariah Carey on a big screen, and I'm
And
like,
that's not alarming to
I
you?
want to come sing Christmas songs with Mariah Carey.
Oh.
That alarms you? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
No. Well, I'm still here for the gambling though, and this is what's upsetting to me. I talk to people, oh yeah, let's meet with Dre, and I'm like, I'm in the sports book. Come, I have a table. Let's talk. We'll have the sports on. And they're like, where's the sports book? What are we doing here?
Yeah, kids need
We're
new
in
shoes. We're in the
Vegas.
sports book.
Come on.
Okay,
Are you a
horn,
sports-
horn, horn, horn. That was my horn.
That's horn.
That was not.
That was.
good.
I think it was
Definitely
You can do
it was
much better.
disturbing.
Okay, moving on to the next topic. MSS claims NSA used 42 tools in a recent hack. I mean, in this economy, Steve, how is...
Yeah, with tariffs? Yeah. So I think there's three things I love about this. One, I genuinely, non-ironically love when the other side does what is happening. We're used to countries calling out China. China's more actively calling out US. I think that's interesting. 42 tools, miss me with that. Like, have we ever seen an intrusion with 42 unique tools used? Like, that's just not a thing.
Well, if it's NSA,
When you're
yes.
tool rich.
Yeah, when you're tool rich. But at the same time, it's like I want to make some kind of like penny. Well, what is it like?
Penny smart, dollar
Penny
dumb.
smart, dollar dumb. Like because I worked on this on the older version of this toolkit, and then you're like reverse engineering it and whatnot, and then you see this and you go, why the hell are you guys still? Like you've repackaged it, but this is the most attributable attack of all time. Like DSC, it literally has gotten leaked as like it's part of the two largest NSA leaks in one capacity or another. It was described by Kaspersky's great. It's been analyzed to death. Everybody knows this is yours, like as attributed as it could be. And then a few years later, like you just kind of repackage the loader and like, oh, here's the new version of Danderspritz. Like we literally, there's if you go to danderspritz.com, Francisco Donoso actually like literally documented all the features of the original toolkit and stuff. So for you to just push this as like a slightly revamped one, you're like, well, for all of the paranoia about attribution that you usually get with Western orgs, like you guys are just kind of phoning it in.
I also love too, like I think the target is the most interesting part. Like they went after the time structure. If you can really get after that, like that's grown folk intrusion stuff. Like that serves only one purpose, and that is wild.
I just wish we knew what exactly they're, because the wonderful eggheads at the Glen Burnie Math Club have figured out some cool thing to do
I can't
with
even
that,
imagine.
and I don't know, man. Is it crypto? Is it, are you messing with their economy? Or is this like what exactly are you guys, is there a downgrade attack here where just like, if we just set the clock off a little bit, all of their crypto starts to get like a little jiggery? Like
that's a big flip of a
Yeah,
switch.
yeah.
Like there's no little stuff
No.
that happens on the other side of there.
Better horn, I think. Okay, Drea, you're up. Oracle vulnerability. Oracle Vuln has TAs, threat actors, shoveling out data. I love that descriptor word. That's great.
Well, I
Shoveling.
mean, yeah, it's it's a pretty prolific vulnerability that we saw immediately being exploited. When we're putting our list of topics together, it was front of mind because it happened to take my entire day and energy. But yeah, I mean, any vulnerability that has to do with a database or database infrastructure is going to be concerning. And and it was immediately exploited, and we had fired up a bunch of incidents right away of data exploitations or data exfiltration. So that's really it. It's like just a hot topic in the world these days, and making sure that we patch those things and
how many crises have come since then? Like I think that's the real issue. It's
it's true.
dog ears. We put the topics down for this thing. You go, this is the biggest thing happening
Yeah.
today.
And then, like, 4 more
And then a week later, WSUS happens,
Exactly.
and you're like, geez, my goodness. So yeah, it's another concerning vulnerability, right? And the threat actors know that if they have the ability to exploit a vulnerability within a database, that is their most lucrative event. So they're going to take advantage quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Shout out to Oracle. You don't usually see them. I mean, they've been around forever,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
they've gone through different phases of what security means for Oracle, which, especially in this town, right? There's been a disastrous history of that, 15 years ago with DEF CON and whatnot, and then there's the version now. But we don't usually see Oracle pop up, and what I'll say is, they really kind of seized the moment. You saw threat intel people pop up, folks fairly senior Oracle people reaching out on a Saturday, being here's the latest IOC. This is great.
Yeah.
If everybody else acted this way, I think we'd have a much easier time.
Like our
to them,
firewalls and our perimeter appliances, for example.
don't
if
get
only,
me.
if only,
Yeah.
if only. What?
Don't-
Is that a transition? Perhaps.
Is that a transition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fairly big. Okay, that is a transition.
Why don't we not get you a foghorn? Something?
Okay,
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on, Jags, topic for you, chat, GPT, AI browsers. It looks like you're trying to browse the web. Would you like help?
I'm just picturing, you see? Yeah. Somebody got it, right?
crowd killer.
It's
It's
like-
a crowd
Have you used it?
Clippy does the web. Yeah, I've been I keep both browsers. I'm on Chrome doing normal stuff, and then
What's
Wait,
normal
wait,
stuff?
wait.
Yeah.
What's your abnormal stuff?
What's
well,
abnormal?
the abnormal thing is when I get on a browser that's literally side saddle watching everything I do, and I see you're logged into this. Would you like me to click on everything? And you're like, I guess.
Do you want me to access your Bluetooth? No.
No,
I
why are
do
you
not.
doing this?
Leave me alone.
You're a browser.
Yeah, it's this is we
I love
know
how
your
you talk
role.
about it, it's like a person. You're a browser.
You're a
Sir, this is a
browser.
Wendy's.
Stop it. Stop. Yeah. It's a really weird time. It was almost like an inevitability to get on the browser. If you think about the minute they started to do computer use agents, right? Agent mode is what we saw in ChatGPT's more expensive offerings. You immediately get into this situation where it's they have to run their own VPSs, servers and stuff, to give you some containerized tool thing. Of course, it's much cheaper to just get on your computer and let the tools run on your machine and let them sort of train up what the agent does. But what's interesting is it's forcing everybody to have this kind of bizarre conversation about privacy, and everyone's right to be freaked out, except that the only thing that's changed is it's OpenAI and not Google. Google has had this with Chrome forever.
Such a good
forever.
point. That's such a
And
good point.
every bit of discomfort you're feeling is absolutely legitimate and real, except that you already made that
But you've been
trade-off
living in it.
6 years ago, and now we're having the out loud conversation and it goes, that's a little late.
I literally saw an internet video on this little place called YouTube on this exact topic.
I've
They
heard
were
about
showing
this site.
this browser. Yeah, you might have heard about it. Check it out. It's
Yep.
YOU
I
and
think
then
it's-
just 2.
I think it's a fad.
But they were showing they're showing this and they're talking about the privacy concerns, and they're literally showing it on a Chrome browser logged onto Facebook, and I'm just like, what are we doing? Is this ironic?
It is ironic in some ways, for sure. But more along the sense of we're just having this uncomfortable conversation now because you think about it. I think it's the anthropomorphic version of this. It's a conversation. So you could have gone in there and Googled some horribly embarrassing medical condition and been like, it's okay, incognito mode, nobody knows this is me. You're like, okay. And now the minute it becomes a conversation with an agent, with a model, you get a lot more uncomfortable about oh, should I use what? How do I handle it? Is this a mole? You're okay. People get so freaked out because they assume I think there's a human sense in which you think you're having a discussion with another.
That's a
person.
trust. It's a trust in the AI that you have. I'm sorry.
Time. Moving on. Last topic, guys. And there was a trolling question for you. Someone's asked,
Woof.
are the Chicago Bears legit? Or are they just playing crappy
Lord.
teams?
Oh, here
We're
we
not
go.
going
Here we
there.
go. No, we're doing it. We're
I'm
doing
I'll
it.
sorry.
step out.
The
I'm out
Bears.
of this.
One more serious, and then
The
we'll get
sports
to that.
thing is when I caught.
So we're going to finish. Where are we at with the F5 breach? This was like main huge news the last few weeks. Steve, like, where are we at now?
Drea wanted to be on the spot for this one.
I did not want to be on the
whoever.
spot,
I mean,
but I did.
but here
We
we
were
are.
having a lovely conversation before
Lovely
you
is
all
exactly
got
how
to
I
hear
describe it.
what we were saying about some net new news that I didn't know about from yesterday regarding this. I mean, the reality is that there's several vulnerabilities that were published as a part of this potential exploit or whatever, and we were all very, very, very concerned, and especially right before a holiday weekend when this happened, like, what was it, a month ago? We haven't actually, I mean, knock on wood, every time I say something on stage, it's like I find out 2 weeks later that
asking.
while I'm
Literally light up a
talking,
fire.
terrible things are happening. But, you know, we haven't really seen, you know, a lot of evidence of exploitation of these things yet. But then you and I were talking again before this this podcast that apparently there's some stuff going on from yesterday.
Yeah, there's reporting on what the Malware Families Mandate wrote about, the potential jump throughs. I think that's important. Like, we take a step back. The concern was never, is an F5 appliance popped? Like that, it's
Right.
the concern has always
Assume
been the
yes.
jump
Did it ever
through.
not pop?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's that whole, like, Schrodinger's cat thing.
Right.
Right.
But and you're like, there's what, 42, 43
Right.
CVEs that shook out of that? And so I think, watch this bridging pro gamer move here, Mr. Host.
Okay.
If we look at all the vulnerabilities we're discussing, since that went out, we're waiting for the pop-throughs, but now we're dealing with all these, we're dealing with Oracle, we're dealing with Microsoft, and like the world moves on. And then potentially a week or two later, you start seeing the pop-through, which is tough on its own to find. It gets lost in the noise. Like, it really is.
What is that noise though? What's most interesting? Okay, let's take those three. I'm sorry, I'm going to derail.
please.
So we've got WSUS, which we haven't talked about yet, but we're about to. We've got F5, so we're talking about perimeter appliances. We're talking about a tool that literally has access to install administratively anything it wants in your network.
Not good.
And Oracle, which has access to all of your sensitive data. Which of these three things are we most worried about? Where do we put our time and effort? If we're an enterprise and we have change management,
You just said two things there though. Like, which ones are we most worried about, and where do we put our time and effort? And those are.
oh,
I would-
absolutely.
You know,
I
would-
understand that dichotomy. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the problem. Like, that is cybersecurity in a nutshell.
Yep.
This is the question, and it's every day. This is not
non-linear
unique.
effects of complexity. I've got a bit of a unpleasant hot take on this one, Jason.
I'm not going to beat you. I'll let you.
Beep, beep.
I mean, honestly, the big difference here is not that we have vulnerability to perimeter appliance. That seems to be like every single day. And it is for a very specific reason, which I would like to throw down the gauntlet. They stole the source code. Would you guys mind open sourcing, like whatever the threat actor was, like would you mind open sourcing this thing so we can have an out loud discussion about how poorly maintained the source code is on this perimeter appliances?
Oh, that is a hot
Because there's
take.
no way that you have this many, it's like an infinite source of vulns in Ivanti, Fortinet, F5, and all these things. You go, okay, it's closed source, right? But you know,
Not
the
anymore.
Chinese have got it. So how about we just review what this thing is? How much of your code base have you changed and actively maintained in the past 6 months or year, 2 years, 3 years? Because the reason you see 40 whatever vulnerabilities is like, this is what they had in the pipe.
100%. And if you're expecting me to acknowledge the risk that that is your existence,
Yeah.
then you can at least open the hood and let me do whatever I possibly can to defend it.
How is there no, like, where is the company that comes up and says, these are all garbage, you all have money, let me make you a new perimeter appliance? Like, how hard can
Do you want to start a business? There we
Wait a
go.
minute.
Sorry, podcast.
VCs are,
Yeah.
Trademark.
There you go, we're out, we're out,
pending.
guys.
You're just a sec perimeter appliance
That's
coming
right.
soon.
I've got that trademark.
So you're joining.
Shoot.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're defecting, guys. It's,
On that note, we need to wrap up because you two have to get on stage.
We do have to go.
Guys, thanks. That was a lot of fun. Thanks everyone who kind of dropped in to kind of listen through. There's plenty of people on the stream, so this has been really fun.
East Coasters.
Yeah, East Coast.
They're awake.
Early on West
That's
Coast.
right.
Oh, actually, oh no.
It's
Yeah,
an
maybe.
ungodly hour, Jason.
Yeah. Well, you made it, so well done. Again, thank you guys. Thanks everyone on the stream. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Are you on main stage?
They don't bring me for that.
Oh, they don't let you
You're
out?
on the main stage at
Oh.
black hat.
Yeah, okay. Well, you two, I'm looking forward to seeing you two on main stage. We're going to get you there to get set up. Thanks, everyone, and see you for episode 8 in a month. Who knows what's going to happen?
Could be
Who
anything.
knows?
Oh, Thanksgiving. Oh no, it'll be Christmas.
Holiday episode.
Almost good.
Holiday episode?
You
All
have to
holiday
wear
things.
ugly sweaters.
Oh.
That's the thing.
Okay.
Look, Jags dies a little bit each time we come up with some like social norm. You just see it.
All right,
Okay, guys, got to wrap. Thank you.
Thanks so
See you
much.
next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thank you.